Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast, the Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there, John Fairbanks. How we doing, John?
I'm doing wonderful, Tyler. How are you?
It's a lovely fall morning here in the middle of nowhere. Guys, today we're going to talk about developing your personal training career, taking it from wherever it is to peak, to the point where you're busy, you're selling as many hours as you are willing to work, making as much money off that time as possible, and then starting to position yourself um, legitimately for the next step, whatever that is. So, taking your personal training career, if you're a coach right now, maybe you're coaching for somebody else, you're coaching in someone else's facility, or you're just getting started. This is if you've got a couple of clients and you're not really sure where this thing is going to go or how far you can really take it. That's what we're going to get into today. So before we get started, make sure you follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF I and Stone. And John?
And you can follow me on Instagram at jbanksfl.
Join the Gym Owners Revolution Facebook group. Link is in the show notes there. And if you want some one-on-one, it's technically 2-on-1 with two of us here. But if you want to work with us directly, we can go over everything from your business plans, marketing strategies, next steps. We have the monthly product, our Gear Academy, where we're going to go and get after it quite intensely for months and months and months on end. And we also have just some one-off opportunities where if you want just consultation calls, just reach out to us on Instagram, or you can message us at the dudes at hackyourgym.com. All right, let's get into it. John, there's a lot of part-time personal trainers out there.
Yeah.
I think most coaches start out as part-time for the most part. And I think that's okay. But we want to talk today about how you can start to build a real full-time standalone career that gives you some autonomy with your time and will pay you well. Starting with just what you have right now, which hopefully if you got one or two people willing to pay you to coach them, right? That's about the starting point we want to start with, John.
I think it's also, because we're building off of an episode that is a couple back where we kind of started the idea of like priming the pump and getting yourself out there, even if it's just virtually, because you're thinking about it. We're taking it from the standpoint where it is, maybe you're just ready to make that career change, add this to it's a part-time passion project. Like you're starting to want to dip your toes in the water. That's what that episode was all about. Our recommendations are the first thing that you do. This is just like you said, Ty, you are now ready to take the next step where maybe virtually you're interacting with people. You should have like a nutrition product. We go into all those things in the previous episode. And this is now when you are ready to actually be doing, like you said, you've maybe gotten a client that's been a nutrition only client, or people now you are starting to coach, because then that takes us like to that next fork in the road. It's either you want to stay only someone that's virtual, only programming for people, not having anything brick and mortar in real life type of interaction, to now taking it that next step further where you're going to start training with people.
So the big thing is going to be scaling here, right? And there's going to be plenty of factors and you're going to have to work around your own schedule and all this stuff. But what I do recommend, especially when you start taking one-on-one clients, you need to take each step that you take needs to have room to grow at this point, which means if you're going to train out of someone else's facility, another gym, know that the things you need to be negotiating have a higher ceiling than the situation you're currently dealing with. To go in and say, I got like just one client, can I bring them in? That's great. And that's a great starting point. But like, you're going to have to plan for the fact that there's going to be more. There's going to be different times. One of the issues we always run into is with coaches that'll start taking clients, and as their schedules start to get full, they're coaching out of commercial gyms, and shit, now we start filling in time where, the gym is fucking packed busy. It's like not an ideal time and place to be coaching people. So you need to start to fill your schedule with the stuff that's really going to work for you, at least in the beginning, while it's easy. Doing this requires a lot of things, though. You're going to have to start to build actual relationships, and you're going to have to legitimize your business as a whole. I think we've seen a lot of gym owners that start as coaches that by the time they get over to gym ownership, they're still doing all the stuff they did as a fly-by-night coach, which is just like accepting cash payments and not running anything legitimately and not really paying any taxes and carrying no insurance. And it becomes very difficult business to operate when you level up like that, especially when you have monthly recurring things. Chasing people down for money all the time is tough. So,
and the big thing too, Tyler, is the idea where we're trying to help you. We dedicated a whole episode to the sniff test. Right? It was probably the last episode, and the reality is that this is where. Do you need to have anything that we're about to talk about? Do you absolutely have to have any of these things to make it work? No, and we know people that haven't. But if you're asking us to give you our professional opinion of if you are getting started on this, or if you've already started, and anything that we talk about you're missing, it's because we're saying this is the best way to do it. So you do pass the sniff test. You're not like every other personal trainer that comes knocking on some gym so you can come either join their crew or be able to be a mercenary, work on your own across multiple. So it's like everything we're going to talk about will only improve your chances of doing these next steps.
You will not run up the full ladder of legitimacy and decent income, and I would say what's the word? A big spending clientele. It's much harder to do if all your shit is sloppy and you seem like a guy that's just coaching in the garage. Like, no offense to anyone who starts this, plenty of our coaches started this way, but
Right.
just a coaching in the park type of situation is cool, but that doesn't it doesn't inspire a lot of big ticket spending. You know what I'm saying? And so if we're really trying to make this, you cannot start, especially if this is a side project for you at the moment, you cannot start with like fucking poor paying, like low payment. What am I looking for? Like low value products, right?
You can't
Because,
look at
because you're selling, well, not only that, but you really can't even do that because what you're selling is already time that's limited. I'm guessing if you're a part-timer, you have another job. Therefore, what you're selling is not just a couple hours, it's your last couple hours at this point. So like
Right.
everything that you're doing right now needs to be able to be a cornerstone so it can be the foundation for when you pivot away. And that's why we want to go for legitimacy and we want to go for like real earnings. Don't fucking sell yourself short. So that's why when we start, you need to completely make this thing legit, which Google Business Profile can be done for personal trainers now under the service side. I think you can go as far as bookings and collecting payments. It's very, very robust now. And if you are a personal trainer, I recommend doing it. I recommend setting it up. Even if you're not going to lean on it too heavily, I think it's important to have it there. I think it will be, I think it's going to be beneficial for search because look for personal trainers in your area. And you're going to be really, really surprised how few there are. And mostly it's just going to pop up with gyms. And there's not really a pathway usually to a ton of like competitive personal trainers on there where they're pitching their personality and their stuff. It's just there's a few maybe that ever use it, and it's very rare. So I highly recommend if you want to stand out and look more professional, use Google Business Profile set up as a personal trainer.
And then the next step is within that piece as you go is you the biggest problem that we run into when we're talking to folks that are wanting to dip their toe in the water and get started with what we're talking about is that they want to wait until and then fill in the blank. Well, I don't want to put myself out there until I get my certification, or I don't want to do this until this. And that's where it's please understand the level of runway that's required. You need to be doing things right in 30 days to 90 days before you start putting yourself out there. Like there's more runway than you realize. And if you position yourself well enough, and let's say you've started working with people, talking with people, establishing that you are a professional in your local community, this is what you do, then the next step is, okay, great, you got your certification. Well, you're going to have to deal with if you're going to try and go to another gym. And this gets me to the next point, which is like, if you have your certification, great. You can do shit on your own, but if you go to somebody that they're paying the bills, they've paid for the equipment, you're now going to try and build a relationship or a partnership with a gym owner. Their insurance 9 times out of 10 is going to require you to have a certification. And you can double it up by saying, you know what, I also, and this is helpful if you're out in the park or somewhere publicly, is I carry my own general liability coverage. And if you go through any of those certification agencies, you literally could just go to whatever your certification agency's website is, and they'll have the hookup on some type of general liability coverage that will cover you. And if you come to I did this early on where I made a deal with a school. A school had a great big gymnasium that was empty on the weekends. I networked with the owners and I knew them well enough where I said, hey, could I bring people in and train them? I know you guys do basketball tournaments when basketball season's in, like you open and rent the gym space. Would you rent me this huge basketball gym so I can run hit workouts? And like, yeah, as long as you have like insurance that covers and then can also be written and attached to ours, like that's fine. So, but if I didn't have that already showing like, hey, I have this, they're like, oh, great. Like it made it to where whatever barriers they were going to put in front of me, they knocked them down. And
Yeah.
it's because I had that in place. And it's like 10, it's just not that it's not too much money to where this again just puts you in a spot of not some guy that happens to do things, but I'm a
Be-
professional.
Because if you put yourself as a person who's owned a gym, people come in wanting to coach.
Yeah.
They usually want a couple things. Oftentimes it's just so they think they want to coach, but they really just want a free membership. They also very often are not passionate about coaching. They maybe just want clout or whatever. On the other side, there's also a lot of fucking weirdos that just ask and talk about shit just for, you know what I mean? And that if you don't respond, they'll never follow up. Like it's just, there's a lot of fucking weirdos that come by asking about coaching. It happens a lot. We've seen this so many times locally and in the gyms that we work with, all over the country and in other countries, John, is that when new coaches come in, the first thing we have to tell gym owners is like, yeah, chill the fuck out on these people.
Slow
Because
it down.
usually a gym owner will get excited when someone tells them the things they want to hear.
Mhm.
And then they're like, oh, cool. Well, this person really says they're about it. It's like, yeah, it seems like that's the thing they would say to you, right? Because they're trying to get hired. Like that does seem like the thing you would say if you're trying to get a job. Where do you picture yourself in 10 years? I mean, right here, really, really leveling up this business for you. It's like, yeah, bullshit. And so that happens so much that when you come somewhere and you kind of have all your bases covered already, you are a professional coming in. It's the same thing. I know I've told this story before, but when I worked for a company, we had to own all of our own tools, even the very heavy, the big, expensive, highly technical ones that were very specialized. And he insisted, you have to buy them. You have to own them. I'll help it. I'll borrow you the money, whatever we got to do, but you need to own them, not me, because at that moment you are the professional.
Right.
And then I can go anywhere I want. If I own all these tools, I go to any other contractor and I say, listen, yeah, I have everything. You just give me a van and keys and I throw my shit and I can go produce. And that I would get hired anywhere, any day, drop of a hat, name your price. Doing this way now, going in your coaching, say, I have my certification. Whatever coaching you have done up to this point, I want testimonials, reference letters, if you can, or at the very least, contact information that you can offer. So when you go up to present an offer to a gym, because I prefer you to not work for the gym that you're talking about. We're talking about building a career. I want you to work in a gym, bring your clients to a gym. I wouldn't recommend becoming an employee of a gym at this point if you're trying to really build up some high ceiling stuff. But if you go in and you have, hey, listen, I got my certification. I am actually insured on my own. Here's my LLC, everything is covered. I have here's some contact information for my clients if you want to call about references. I have some transformation pictures. If you have any questions about my training philosophy or things like this, you go here. Here's my Google business page. You can market that if you need to. And all of a sudden, you are the one driving the fucking ship.
Correct.
And they want you. This is how you stand out from all the idiots who come in thinking like, yeah, maybe I could coach somebody here. It sounds cool. And maybe I'll just be respected in the gym because I'm not fucking cool in any other way. But you give me a staff shirt, I'm cool guy points. I can be a real gym pro. I think that this makes you stand out amongst all the noise as like just a real fucking grown up in the business.
Yeah, and while you're doing these things, you're leveling yourself up. This is what we did, and the network it provided as owners and then as coaches. You you want to be. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, and it just depends now what we're talking about. The smartest person in the room when it comes to training philosophy, the smartest person in the room when it comes to how you run your business. You want to be in these networking situations. So we seeked out whether it was mentoring programs, coaching programs, diving into different types of philosophies that then resonated with us, that then we wanted to be able to go back and share, like going to whether it is the annual conference for the certification organization for your thing, right? Like that is valuable because you're now growing your knowledge, because all of those things, like you said, Tyler, of getting lined up then takes you to where, all right, where do you want to do that business? Now that you have all these things, it now, no matter what you're doing, whether you choose to train in a public area, whether you're going after that partnership with a gym, whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, all the sniff test is really, really solid. And now you get to start kind of either on your own as a mercenary, if you start in a gym as an employee, or able to get a partnership with a gym because you've been doing that networking correctly. Now you get to make all those decisions, because now that's when things start to get a little bit more fun as a personal trainer, because you get to do it for real.
We should also talk about exclusivity in these relationships. That's a thing that
Hmm.
a lot of gym owners maybe will seek if they want you to be on there, like if they're going to hire you, right? And they're going to feed you clients, they're going to say you can't coach anybody anywhere else. Um, I recommend avoiding that at all, if at all possible. I'm okay with paying a gym owner a cut of any of the time that you're using there. If they want a percentage, that's up to you to decide what works for you. If they want a per hour rate when you're there, then it's fine. You can always charge your way around whatever fees that, you know what I'm saying? You can charge more if it tightens things up for you. It's okay.
Right.
That whatever it takes for the system to work, you need to do right away. Don't get yourself locked into a bad deal. That's what's important here. Um, I avoid exclusivity because we want you to be a mercenary. We want you to be a Ronin. We want you to be your own coach, your own brand. And I want, for the sake of your career, your clients need to be known as your clients. And if you are an employee at one of the red or purple or blue gyms or whatever, right? If you're just an employee there, like what's going to happen is the gym is going to get credit for everybody's success. I went to this gym and they set me up with this trainer and I had such great success at this gym with this trainer. In reality, if you're really marketing yourself first, putting your business profile out there, being very active on professionally active about this profession on social media for months and months and months and years on end, people will seek you.
Hmm.
And then you can go, listen, you're not going to be able to have a relationship at every gym in town. Not every gym is going to let you coach people there.
No, in fact, gyms will draw weird lines in the
Some
sand
gyms are
and will
real
be
weird.
shitty to they'll be
Even when
shitty
you're,
to
by the
you.
way, even when you don't want any of their clients, like I will only bring you clients. Sometimes gyms just don't get it. And there are
Right.
gym owners that are very disinterested and just don't get it. Personal training sounds like managing labor to them and they just don't care.
I have a,
Whatever.
s- I have a
Yeah.
story about this literal thing.
So I, though, here train at about 3 different facilities:
Right.
commercial gym, the municipal gym, and then client spot, and then wherever else we need to fill in at. But that way, my clients are known for working with me. They're not known for working at a place, which means if I want to move somewhere else to a different location, if I ever do want to level up and have my own training studio, my clients are my clients. The reputation is mine. Whilst I've still built an added value to the gyms while I'm there. The gyms that I bring, all those people are members there, and the gym still gets a cut. So they're making lots and lots and lots of money, and I'm bringing lots and lots of members, and it adds legitimacy to that gym having someone like me or Megan working there. It's great.
Sure.
It's a great attractor of the type of people you want in your gym. Um, but I would not be exclusive.
So I
It's
went,
too narrow of an opportunity. It narrows up things and it's too limiting. If you want to open a gym and invest a shitload of money, go for that, and then you can live with those limitations because you spent a lot of money establishing those limitations. You right now need an open book, a profitable open book with options so that you can find the best opportunities in the best places, because that's what you want to be picking right now is the best opportunities, the easiest money, the best clients, the most ripe for success. Like that's the game you need to be playing right now when you're still part-time, because you have another fucking job usually. So you cannot be wasting your last 10 hours a week doing shit that sucks and is not impactful.
and the connection, right, that you make to, if you do this the right way, clients attribute their success back to you as the individual, as the trainer, and not to the gym as a whole. It's I When we were doing these things several years ago and we were testing out these processes, I went to a local spot that I already was working out in. It was like a local, like, powerlifting type style gym, like a rough and rugged gym, like the place type of place that has like the Incredible Hulk in the deadlifting area,
Yeah.
right? Like, so it was a good vibe. And I said, hey, I coach teams. Can Could I use your turf area when it's not conflicting with anybody else? And I have some of their parents that might be interested in doing some personal training. Are you all comfortable with having me come in and do this exact same thing, right? Setting up this mercenary set,
And you offered to pay, right?
offer to pay, did offer to do all the
This
things.
wasn't like a charity ask here.
No, no, no. It was like, this is now a professional relationship.
They'll all
And
be members. You'll get a cut of what I'm charging. We can
they'll pay
establish
the members
any
like
boundaries we need. Yeah, all these things. They
they
are
covered
they are
all of it.
not existing members, by the way. That's important. They were
Correct.
people that you are not doing business with who are now going to come here and do business with you on a high level, because that's way more expensive than just memberships.
Yep.
What
Where
they say.
and they said no. because it would feel unfair to our current personal trainers that we have on staff. Mind you, I didn't see doing a lot of personal training, and I saw a lot of washing of towels and filling of disinfectant bottles and helping people scan in their key cards. Right, that was the majority of what I saw when I was there, and it would be unfair to them because then we're taking opportunities away from them. And I just left it. I'm like,
Okay, yeah,
okay.
you're right. You were right to walk away and not make a scene.
So let's fast forward 2 years to this past week. I'm doing networking in the community, making some deals with a local Mexican spot that makes fucking amazing food. And they go, "Hey, you're a personal trainer, right? I don't do business with these people outside of eating their food and setting up some catering for a local team to get fed by them, right? That's all I'm doing." So you're a personal trainer. I said, "That's right." She goes, "Well," and I had that gym's shirt on. It was a cool shirt. I bought it when I was still a member, so I had the
Yeah.
shirt. I like the shirt. And they go, "I work out there." I said, "Well, that's great. I've worked out there before as well." They go, "Well, you're a personal trainer. Are you a personal trainer there?" I said, "No." I said, I'm able to kind of go to any gyms that I want that be able to work with me and things like that. So it's really just, it's you working with me." She goes, well, can I get your like name? Can I get your number?" She goes, "I worked with a personal trainer there and I loved it. And I'm ready to get back on the wagon. And so I want to give you a call." So
But
she
they
had a
don't want the
positive,
trainer that she
they don't
had.
want who already helped her. But it's because of this mental thing that you just called out just so matter of factly, which is this idea where no, she attributes that not back to Adam, who did a great job with her, who I know the dude that was the personal trainer, and I like him as a man because that's not the owner. But
Mhm.
from one man to another, from one trainer to another, I know that guy. It's like, well, shit, if he's already gotten results with her, but she's attributing the results back
The
to
gym.
that brick and mortar location, not back to him as the individual. Now, for me, I don't want to train this lady.
Yeah.
She does not fit. She does
No.
not fit my wheelhouse. So I get to be the ultimate like good guy shit, which is I'm going to reach out to this dude and be like, "Listen, you helped
Yep.
a lovely Latina lady get a big ass and she wants to get that ass back. And that's all she's focused on. She's primed for the picking." So I get to hand a red hot referral back because it doesn't matter how much I would want to be able to make money working with this lady. I don't want to help a middle-aged Latina lady get a huge ass. It just,
Yeah.
that's not on my wheelhouse.
And you'd have to then have that conversation like, "Oh, well, they actually only, yeah, like this gym's fucking morons about me bringing clients there. So no, we can't do that."
I can't bring you there. And so it's, but it
But I
is
think,
one of those things where
yeah,
just mentally for her, it was exactly what you called out if you don't do it the right way.
yeah. And I think that's, again, we're in the business that when we talk about the gym owners revolution as a whole, we're connecting people to people, people with a need to people who can help, to people who care. And from there, we are building a service and we are building products and we are making money. And it is supposed to be very profitable and very successful for everybody involved. But it's about people.
Mhm.
So your brand needs to be about the people. And most of those gyms are not, and that's okay, right? It's, a commercial gym is not really made to be people first. Every coach is an expert. The coaches are out there just building all these relationships. That's a complicated system for a franchise gym, shit like that to roll with.
Yeah.
It's a complicated system for a mostly hands-off gym owner to like engage in, is really like staff development and culture. Like developing a positive culture of building good relationships with clients is fucking hard. And it takes a lot of work and the right people and a lot of time and effort. And most gym owners aren't going to do that, and this is why you're able to set yourself apart. So you need to be that thing, because that's the thing that this country needs. That's the thing that everybody needs. That's what your clients need.
Mhm.
Being that will make you better than everything else out there, and that will give you the vehicle that you can drive all the way to wherever you want to go. Um, so
Once you,
exclusivity avoided at all costs.
yeah, once you
Reserve
know
your own
where you, yeah, and once you know where you want to do your business and understand where you decide to do your business now is not where you'll be doing business in 6 months, not in a year. So it's, do not live and die by these things. And just like you said, some gyms are going to tell you, "Hey, big fuck you, no, we're not interested." It doesn't mean that there's not the gym or a space for you to do business. You got to get started. And once you decide where you're going to get started, then it's going to be knowing what you're coaching and then knowing what you're selling, because those two things are really, really important. It can't just be kind of like, well, like it needs to be like, no. And this is why we do offer stacks for personal trainers, starting to put these things in place that now allow you to really sell, which would then allow people to be successful and actually to make money.
So we're assuming, because this is kind of the next step here, that you already have some sort of nutrition program or nutrition coaching plan on how you would deliver nutritional changes to a client,
Mhm.
whether it feels like a product, where it feels like check-ins, whether it's emails, PDFs, however that is. Um, if you don't have that built, you should work on this. You should, if you're coaching people for weight loss or really anything, and you're not addressing directly nutrition, you're making a huge mistake. So start, require it, get paid to do it, figure it out by while you're getting paid, but build that, develop that, because that is the thing. It's your major upsell and downsell, which we'll get into next. Meaning, someone comes in and wants personal training and they want to lose weight. I won't do it anymore without at least starting this. To kick it off, you're going to do the 5-week weight loss program that I have, because it's easy enough. It works. It's the best value for you, better than me writing something up custom, and you'll get accountability through me. So that means we're going to spend 5 weeks really making big progress on your food while we start working out. By
Mhm.
the way, if somebody is a bit of a pain in the ass, or I think that they're lacking commitment, Megan and I both have done this, where we'll require them to get 2 to 3, 4 weeks in on this process before we will even commit to taking them on, because we don't only have so much time on our schedules.
Mhm.
That if I'm going to take on a new client at this point and I think they're delusional or resistant or flaky regarding nutrition, I'm not going to waste my time coaching them in the gym while they fucking sabotage the whole process.
Right.
uh, because the system is about success. So if you don't have nutrition program or a nutrition product or a nutrition philosophy, you best get one, and you best get good at helping people change the way that they eat. They need to change their food habits. You need to figure out a process that will help them do that, hold them accountable, and teach them the things that they need in order to be successful for the long haul. That's fucking hard, and that takes a lot of work. It's not going to be perfect the first time around. This iteration we're on right now, John's probably like version 6.0 of the first stuff. You remember the first stuff we were sending out? It's like just a spreadsheet, and we punch in the math for you, and then from
Yeah.
that I'd elaborate, but it wasn't as much of a defined process. It wasn't bullet points and really specific points of emphasis about their experience and what they will experience this week and their expectations, and there's a lot more framing that goes on now, because every time someone fucks up or pisses me off or fails to read something or whatever, I have to go, is that a flaw in my system, or is this person just an idiot? And I'm my instinct is to go, everyone who does stuff wrong that I tell them to is a fucking moron. And I have to beat that out of my head, because I'm
Mhm.
building a program that's supposed to be optimized for the successful outcomes of my clients.
Right.
So I have to go, okay, well, maybe I need to remind them for the 5th time in 5 weeks that, and maybe every single email that goes out to them has to include this piece of information, because I guess they just forget, or dudes just don't read full thoroughly. I don't know. But
But it comes down to, Tyler, you have to do the doing. And this is one of those things where, as we get into this next phase, you can't be a fucking millennial about this. And I say that lovingly because I am one. But watching a bunch of fucking people wish that they could become rich at becoming or being or doing X, Y, or Z, while you don't put in the reps, you just kind of wish it to be true. And you got a little bit of the secret fucking thing going on where you just say these daily affirmations to yourself in the fucking mirror. And somehow that's going to make things work. That's not how it works. You get to version 6.0 of this thing because you're actually training people. And then as those people react to what you're trying to do, guides you to what you're doing, but you're getting better at it. You're becoming more relevant. You're getting people results. And this is where I think, again, too many business fucking majors come out and they want to have a business plan, and they want to have this, and they want to have their logos, and they want to have all this shit built out before they've even taken on a fucking client. And what we're telling you is that you are wasting your time. You are making yourself busy just by being busy. And this is why we always say it starts with one.
starts with people.
You just get that first client, because that first client, you cannot establish that I only want to work with fit moms over 50 and this is what I do. If that's what you do, then you need to be fucking doing it. Because if you're doing it and the market's responding and you are getting clients and they're reacting well to what you're putting out into the world, then guess what? You get to be the fit mom personal trainer.
Till then, you're just talking. And there's a lot that happens, you know, an example of this, there's plenty of personal trainers like this, but I see some really solid examples. It's going to sound like I'm ragging on women. I'm not. But is you'll get lots like, how many people do you know, John, that came out of college? It's usually females. This is why I'm just saying this, is that do like a photography business, part-time hobbyist photography business that comes and goes and maybe never was all the time.
60% of every female I think that I know that's a mom has done it.
Massage therapists, part-time massage ladies, they do this all they get the certification, they do the thing, they kind of take some appointments, but then you're like, I don't fucking know, do you even fucking do this? It's hard to say. Yoga instructors, the same thing. Someone who doesn't do a ton of it, oftentimes they're like super flaky, they're going, yeah, I'm going to start this, your location on this, okay, and then it just everything just whimpers into nothing because there's not follow through. It's just built on this jumping from one thing to maybe the next thing. And like, you can pivot your client base and the products that you offer, but stay in the fucking industry and do the thing is what I'm saying. For us, for you, Chip, for those of you that are coaching, you need to coach. Okay. And if you get tired of coaching high school students, coach dads. If you get tired of like, you know what I'm saying? But you need to be running people through your processes so that you're getting better and you're building a reputation. It's not just going to blink into existence that you have the respect. One of the things that's the difficult thing that I think new personal trainers need to understand too. One, nobody gives a fuck about your education. Nobody gives a fuck about your certification. Gym you want to work in might need it for fucking liability or whatever, but like nobody gives a shit. It doesn't really matter. Just understand that for sure. Now, shit, what did I have here? Okay. But one of the things that they always say, if you're going to become a doctor, is do not practice in the town you grew up in, right? So if you become a new personal trainer, you're going to run into that same thing.
Sure.
Because you're just the guy that maybe 10 years ago was like, you know, like blacking out at the bar with his head in his hands or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just the guy that maybe they used to that worked at fucking Wendy's when he was in high school. That's all they remember you as. Or you're the guy that fucking, I don't know, broke some windows out when you were a mischievous little teenager, or you're the guy that used to mow Miss Sally's lawn. Like those people are not going to shift their perception of you just because you got some new certification and are saying, now I'm a personal trainer. You got to be, you got to be about it for a long time, and you got to do it, and you have to do it publicly, and then you need to market it. You need to speak on those successes out there. You have an uphill battle already because you're starting. Nobody's just going to give you clout. And one of the biggest things that we would see, John, in the fitness education space is people would they'd go do a seminar and shit and learn some new stuff. And then they think they're experts, and they basically just start running seminars on their own in their gym. It's like, nobody gives a fuck to listen to you talk like you know some shit. You're the nerd who went to go fucking learn this stuff for 2 or 3 days or whatever, right? You're the dork. These people don't care to learn. They want results. And now you're trying to turn this into some weird clout chasing, just give me respect because I'm standing in front of you. And that's not how it works. Results speak for themselves. Okay? The work should speak for itself. You need to do the work, you need to get the results, and you need to be very public about that for a very long time consistently. Otherwise, you're back trying to book. Like, everybody knows some lady who is a massage therapist who, if you told me hadn't had an appointment in the last 6 months, it wouldn't surprise me, right? Everybody knows one of those.
Sure.
You don't even really know if they do it or not. Okay. And that's the way a lot of personal trainers are. A lot. I see we got some young kids that come around. I think they aren't coaching at the place we're at. They're coaching at one of the other franchise gyms. And like, never a peep. You never see anything about their clients. There's no rants or raves from their clients. They're not posting anything about their clients or their client success. The gym isn't posting about anything that's going on in that coaching relationship or anything. Like, this work that they're doing, let's pretend it's awesome and impactful. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it likely isn't, but let's pretend that it is. It is happening in the darkest reaches of some fucking void because nobody knows. and it's totally wasted. And if you told me, if I didn't know from behind the scenes that that kid is coaching some people, I don't know who they are or what they're doing or how they've done or if anyone likes them. But if I didn't know that from behind the scenes, I would have zero fucking clue. That kid could be
Right.
working at Wendy's for all I know. And that's what you're doing when you're not really, really, really trying to hustle this. This is building on the success of your clients. This is marketing that success. This is being invested in that success. And this is making sure that at this point, you are very professional about the process. All this should be expensive and all of this should be making you money. If you're not used to asking for money, especially when you get to the point where your services should speak, your results should speak for themselves, should speak for themselves. You should be able to ask a pretty penny. And you should be able to ask for prices that you are uncomfortable telling people that it's that expensive. You should be, that's a really solid lesson. You should be charging an amount that makes you go, ugh, when you ask a little bit. Okay. That's start with that because it's really tough to climb out. If you're charging 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour, it's really tough to become the $100 an hour guy.
And your gym won't ever be that. So this is one of those things where you cannot sit around as a personal trainer hoping and wishing that the gym just promoted you better or promoted you more. It's like, this is where, again, it's when we talk to gym owners, we are talking to them about, you need to get your personal trainers on track with the idea that they need to be promoting their own shit. And in turn, it's helping promote the gym because then it's bringing people into this symbiotic relationship. But if
Plus,
it's
you
not,
want the people you want.
right?
I don't want the people that just the gym match throws at me. If somebody wants a personal trainer, there is a solid chance that I would like to work with them and they would like to work with me. So if the gym just sells that into existence because someone wants a personal trainer, I have one over there, big bald guy, right? And they hire me, perfect, wonderful. Maybe that'll work out. But I would really prefer it if the people that I worked with wanted to work with me first. That they didn't want a trainer, they wanted me as the trainer. And that's a huge difference with like you said, with expecting the gym to just give me leads, market me, put people in front of me, sell for me, which is probably the way it maybe should go. Even if I was to be the gym owner, I would really like it if the gym owner would just sell and get right onto the. But like, I want there to be a match. It's hard to do that way. So for you as a coach, man, I think you really want to be doing your own marketing, doing your own selling. By the way, if the gym wants to also market you, your content now, they don't need to make content. They can just share your content. They can just lean on the stuff you're already doing. So you'll get all their reach. You'll be able to probably 10x your reach because the gyms, usually gyms at least have eyes on them. You'll be able to expand your reach pretty dramatically. And you're not asking them to make a bunch of content for you or about you. And most of them are not really that committed to that type of stuff anyways.
I keep harping on, because if we zoom back a decade ago, Tyler, right? You have an idea of who you're going to train. As a new personal trainer, you have an idea of the different types of clients that are out there that you would like to train. And I'd be willing to bet you dollars to donuts that now, a decade in of doing it, who you're training now was not that original avatar or those types of people you thought was the people you were going to want to target. And it only gets refined and it only gets improved because you put time in the saddle. But more importantly, the clients then dictate. They decide for you. You have an idea. And so this is why I keep saying, stop trying to think of who your people are, start training people, and naturally the right types of people, the right types of client avatars, whatever, whoever is attracted to you as the personal trainer, that becomes your people. And it's not the other way around. You can have an idea, but once you put in the reps, now your people, they start with you as a nutrition person, but then they have a desire. And then you have the ability to put a product in front of them to help them specifically. And now you can repeat that process with people that are similar to them. This is what allows you to then build all the things we talk about all the time, which is the idea of you build your products and services into a system, into a coherent offer stack that then raises your level of professionalism, raises your ability to close a sale, to even go through a sales process, to where if you're brand new to this probably is the most concerning and nerve-wracking inducing part of this process, which, like we talked about, asking for the money. But if you've done it the right way and it's been built off of the actual results that you've done, it's all should be an assumed close relationship where you are going to get money. Now you just get to do it the right way, which allows you to figure out how you can continue to then repeat this process over and over again, whether you truly are on your own or whether you are working out of a gym location.
Now, as you're at this point, you've systemized your sales. Your sales are systemized. You have some sort of nutrition products, so that your clients are actually fucking successful. First off, it gives you a little more guarantees there. The next step, I want to make sure along the way you're documenting as much stuff as you can be, as much stuff as you can. That means your workouts. What are you having your personal training clients do? Are they all doing the same stuff? They're doing different stuff, but just start accumulating that, because that starts to turn into a monthly product, workout bundles, packages for when people go out of town. When you make your workouts, just drop in a link to the quick 2 or 3 second demonstration video of what that exercise is, right? It's one thing we did with Megan. We just took every workout that she's ever had her clients do. She writes them down. We then build them into links, and then we turn them into PDFs. Now that turns into a great downsell from people who are finished, who can't afford personal training forever. They can drop down to a $50 a month product. Or people who come in and just can't afford personal training. Now they go, oh, well, let me start on my own for this $50 a month product. So now you can get yourself into the online virtual coaching, kind of the hyper scalable stuff, without being a dipshit. Because every dipshit wants to do this. Every idiot goes, oh, I'll make my workout bundles. It's not going to be better than Juggernaut or any of those other apps that are out there. It's just not going to be. And so you're just going to blast ads out. Like how is John, could you imagine a plan for somebody cold? Just be like, yeah, I don't want to coach people in person. I just want to sell it's dog shit business. It's bad for fitness. It is perfect way. However, these digital $50 monthly, here's X amount of workouts and demonstrations and explanations. It is a perfect way to send somebody off, though, as you send them off on their own after they've learned from you and they've had success and they're ready to move off and stand on, go to the next phase of their lifetime fitness journey, which is maybe not having a personal trainer forever, which is okay. But now you're still getting paid as they go out the door, and that's what's important.
And it's
people
only
who tell you no, they can buy the nutrition and they can buy this stuff and they can still have success. This is that when you start turning that corner to where you have now something truly for every budget. And that's an important thing, that now you can really serve the people that have the money with your time. Your time is expensive. These other products were all flowing out of you the whole time anyways. The nutrition, the workout bundle, like all this stuff you're just doing. So don't waste it. Assemble it together and make it work for you now, because otherwise, what a shame to waste that.
And you've done it in the right order. Like the order of this is so important because you've built the clout or the trust or the you've been established as the expert. So then you can have a downsell opportunity when someone's done doing work with you, they've gotten results, then they will take the training plan from you. But this comes back to like, if you do it in reverse, which is a lot of folks that try and teach like how to become a personal trainer online, all those things that are, there's a fucking lot of them that are out there. It gets back to a principle that we were taught when we were doing stuff with a mentor it's the Kardashian syndrome. You are not a Kardashian. Therefore, you don't get what they do, what people that are incredibly famous and have massive pull and massive following, just because they do a thing. So if you think about the best power lifters, the best weightlifters, the best everything that's out there, the guys that can then turn on a template and make money, and that's something that they sell. One, it doesn't make as much money as you think it does.
Nope.
And two, they only get to do that because they're leveraging an existing following, which you don't have. So that is, you're fucking wasting time in a big bloody red ocean trying to fucking throw your stuff out that way.
Training programs and courses for gyms and coaches is one of the most ill-fated, ill-advised things I've seen. When a gym is like, I want to do a course, I want to have this program, I'm going to build it and it's going to stand. It's like, Jesus Christ,
you're not famous enough.
Tough. You're not famous enough. Like, coach people, for Christ's sake. John, we've seen gyms that try to do this that don't make any money.
Right.
Coaching. They like have fucking like 2 classes a day and maybe 1 personal training client or 2 tops and like multiple staff and shit. It's just like, oh, you want to just do this infinitely scalable fucking thing? Jesus Christ. And so it's a rough game, and it's worth having a product. If the product just exists, it's fine. But then you cannot be paying a bunch of upkeep. You cannot be wasting a bunch, taking energy away from something else to do this, which is why the sequence in which this stuff happens is important. Let's touch on a couple of things here then, as far as what the next level would be
Right.
after this point, right?
Which
Um,
is worth your time. Everything we just said is not worth your time. So
yep.
this is where your time should be getting spent once you are ready to take that next step to go to the next level.
And now we're assuming it's time. Let's pretend you need a little bit more money before you quit your day job. You're working, say you're coaching 4 or 5 extra hours, but you have some online stuff going and nutrition coaching going. It gets pretty lucrative when you're not just trading time for money. Where you trade time for money now needs to start producing you a little more money,
Mhm.
so that you can, once you free up more time on your calendar, the scale will escalate pretty quickly. The money will escalate at a much faster rate. Big one is group training, semi-private training groups. The group training can be assembling people with similar fitness goals. It can be just putting together a class. These can be custom groups. It may just be families. I have some families of 3, 4 that I coach once a week.
Yep.
Megan's got families of 3. She coaches twice a week. There's just some of those relationships are great. And by the way, you charge more per hour for those, of course. So make sure that now, if you're all full on time, the next hour you have that comes up and becomes available, ideally you would be filling it with something that's more profitable like this. Okay, that's how you can start to make more out of it. So you're not just simply doing price raises in order to make more money, but you're not simply running a harder, tighter, longer schedule in order to make more money. Semi-private training groups, we use that concept essentially for, then I would describe that as people who don't quite know each other or aren't in it together, even though I have some that are collective groups. We call them custom private groups, and then semi-private groups that are a little open. They're just 3 people that can work together. They're maybe not directly working out together, but they're sharing time, and they share a little bit of the burden, but financial burden. So they save a little money compared to one-on-one. That makes this a great option for a downsell for someone who maybe can't afford one-on-one forever, or maybe really can't afford one-on-one at all. You go, oh, but I can get in on this and get a little attention, and then maybe I'll get one on your monthly program, and then the nutrition stuff, and they can still have success, and they can still get some of your time without being committed fully to the entire thing.
And understand the distinction between these two are vital, because this is not a semi-private personal training group. It's a very small group. It stays small, like 5 or less.
Yeah.
And the idea is that it is still high value that allows you to get paid more for that hour of work. It's less to them. It's not a group fitness in the park, yoga in the park, right? Like those, they fit in different areas of your offer stack of cost of the expense to the person, and then how much you have to give. This is why you can't have, if you are a gym that doesn't have the square footage to be able to justify more than 15 people in a class, and you kind of are sitting in a weird range of like 8, you're in a dangerous range where you are giving too much. It's going to sound weird, like it's too much value for a thing that's not custom to that small group, and you're not justifying kind of just everybody doing a workout of the day, whatever that WOD is, right? That concept. That's where you want to make sure you're differentiating those two products. You can't pretend. Otherwise, if you're just running groups of 4 and you're acting like it's a group class, you're really just not getting paid enough for that level of one-on-one attention. So you want to be able to have that differentiator.
Another one-off events.
Yeah.
I really like this as a personal trainer. If you want to start leveling up, is host a little event where you coach a small group. Maybe you do a little thing. I don't care if you can put together a food thing where a chef comes in and do the thing, but you can kind of be the centerpiece, the organizer of it. You can do any number of things. You can let's all work out in the park. It's open to the public. Come in, give me $5 or whatever, sign the waiver.
Right.
There you are, accumulating leads. You can have camps for kids. Gordon does a great camp, actually multiple a year now, where it's just like a couple hours a day for 2 days, maybe 3 days over Christmas break. Parents love getting the kids out of the house. So the youth sports, they just get to work and run and jump and have all sorts of fun, but it's super profitable and it generates a ton of leads from them. Those are great uses of your time at this point. And what we're getting at by this is how you build as many relationships as you can within your community, because you only have so many people you can coach if it's one-on-one. That's it. Let's pretend you're coaching 8 hours. 8 coaching hours a day. You're not, and you probably shouldn't be. 4 to 6 is probably about the most I would recommend. Now, that's why we want to make sure some of these hours are more profitable than others. That's why you also want to make sure you're buffering your labor time so that you don't have to spend so much time on the floor with some of these other programs that are more scalable.
Relationship
But
building is
only, yeah, but
yeah.
let's say you're even pulling off 8 a day or whatever, 8 hours. That's 8 sessions. Let's say everybody's 2 or 3 times a day. You've got you maybe have 20 clients. That's not a lot of relationships. And if you're good, they're going to stick with you for a while. So that's just not a lot of people that are talking about you, which is why some of these things you need to get out there. You need to be present, whether it's volunteering, whether it's being out, showing up at other gyms, whether it's networking opportunities, whether it's just going out and trying to sell. We talk about group training, whether it's based on an organization. You reach out to a business to offer something for their business. And even if they decline, they know you're a professional and they know that you do this. Now that business, that owner, everybody goes, oh, this guy's real. There are opportunities here with this person. So the more you're out trying to make things happen and trying to make relationships, the relationships continue to catch up with you. The more you continue to do that, and that's why you need to be you need to be a cornerstone in your community. If you are the person that is helping people go from not fit to fit, you should be an absolute pillar in your community. The
People have to
work
see it.
on its own should like that work is impactful. You will have the respect if you're delivering that work. You will have that respect if you're building those relationships and continuing to shine a spotlight on the successes that these people are having. It's just life-changing success. So quit fucking around. Like make sure everybody knows that you do this and you're good at this, and those relationships will be formed. And then that way, when everybody is wondering, God, I should get a personal trainer, they don't have that thought. They want to work with you.
Right.
And that's the thing we're looking for here. All of this is about building your brand in like a real way, instead of just saying build your brand, instead of just making videos about food hacks and shit or whatever, you know.
And we're gonna do an episode of, we talked about like passing the sniff test virtually. There's now a whole nother sniff test of now in good old fashioned real life of how you are now going to pass that sniff test. Who are you doing business with? Where are you looking to make those connections? How are you networking in person? Because that's when all these worlds now come together and gives you what you need, which is, like you said, it gives you that pillar status, that VIP status. You know the right people, you're in the right places. And that's what allows, just like you said, it's you need to have as many people talking about you in rooms that you are not in.
Yeah.
And if you have that, people are having those conversations about you, about all the things that you're about, because you've done all of that legwork. That's when, and this is what pisses me off, like other folks that are consultants and sharks and charlatans that are in this industry that do what we do. I sent an ad to you the other day, Tyler, that pissed me off. And what pissed me off about what they were doing was they said you don't need, they literally are saying you don't need to build relationships with people in your community. You don't need to be doing networking. You don't need to be doing this. Their only answer is you need to do ads.
Run more ads.
If you're not running ads, and what do they sell on the back end? Oh, well, they'll run your ads for $2,000 a month and they'll just do. So no wonder they're telling you not to do all the things that doesn't make them any money. They're going to only push you towards the thing that they're going to be able to monetize at the highest possible level at the detriment to you as the human.
And the best part about what they'll do is they'll actually have you ask bunches of your members to pay in full for the year, so that you're borrowing from money. If you don't have the money to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for these ads, perfect. We'll just basically have you borrow it from your future year, and then we're just going to sink it all into there. Assuming it all works, that's probably fucking wonderful. But that's not what you need. It's not what your clients need. If you want to just pay to churn more people, because by the way, if the solution is to just do that, that's churn. Networking and relationships and client success, that is business, long-term business, big money business, big impacts in their life, in their family, in yours. These are huge relationships that get built when you focus on success. If you're not worried about building relationships and getting your clients successful, you're just going to run ads for ads sake. So you're just going to keep moving bodies. And even worse, you're not even going to be moving as many bodies towards your gym as you want. You're just going to get leads that will continually eventually get more and more and more wore out as you continue to saturate your local market, because there's not a ton of people driving too far to work with you. So what happens when that runs out? What is your reputation if you've been forcing hundreds of people, thousands of people through your system every year and they don't stick around? If they don't stick around, does that mean they had a good experience or no? Usually no. If they don't stick around, did they get results or not? Probably not. So what's left at the end of that? You now don't have the business. You don't have the juice. Your brand has been sunk. You have it's not worth it spending the money on these ads because the lead quality will continue to get poorer and poorer and poorer. And then nobody wants to do business with you. Or you can do it the right way. You can still be here in 5 or 10 years.
And that's the goal. And so every one of these phases, we haven't hit on this. We'll say it just once, but we've said it multiple times whenever you're doing these new things. So if you're new to this and you're putting these phases in place, again, this is not like, well, I do this for a couple of weeks, then immediately I'm ready. Like you will feel it. Your wait list, your client load, these things will happen. And then you'll meet what feels like a ceiling, but it's a glass ceiling. And that's why we're like, no, once you get here, now we go here. We just scoot over. And now you keep moving. You keep moving through these points. And the whole concept, you have to be documenting all of it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this idea where you record everything that you're doing. So it gives you the ability, any communications, the actions that you took, anything that you created that is relevant to the service you're providing to your people, then gives you, because you've recorded it and then you've actually put it into practice, you then get to be able to evaluate, right? And you're going to be able to break it down. Was this successful? What wasn't successful? How could I fix it? And then we have this cyclical approach because you're always evaluating before, you're always evaluating after, which we call like that post-mortem. And then you get to then put it, strategize, how do we make it better? And then away we go. And it goes around and around and around. That's why you say we're on our 6th version of this thing when it comes to the nutrition product, because we've done this process now so many times, and you need to be doing the same thing as well. Every new phase, you're now working, sharpening, getting better, every new iteration, every new version, because then you'll only get better and better. And then things will be, we were helping a client this past week, right? It was, what's the communication process? How can that be improved? What can be pulled out? You've tested this. I don't like the way it feels. Great. Then remove it. Because guess what? You're the fucking boss. You get to decide. You get to decide because it's your shit. You don't have to ask anybody else for permission. And then that gets better and smoother. And then just like magic, now you can handle it. And then if you want to do ads, then if you want to add more volume, then you can manage it. But if you have broken shit that hasn't been refined, that you then try and squeeze a whole bunch of volume into, you break and you don't know where it's breaking or why it's breaking.
All right, guys. So go do all that.
All those things.
Follow all that. You guys
Take
some of
notes.
those episodes that probably would be useful for our AI bot to turn into a checklist. Likely.
If you want a checklist of everything that was on this episode,
Fucking make one yourself.
You get fucked. Listen to this again. God damn it. Reach out. We have the ability to take everything that's in this, but I will give it to you once you ask for it.
Yeah.
Then I will make it for you, and then you can have it.
John's like, fucking Tyler, chill with the promises.
God damn it. One of these things.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast. If you want to work with us directly, email us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. Let's help you work on your shit where you're at right now and get you where you want to be. With actionables like direct, do this next, this next, this next. We'll assess opportunities. It's been, John, I think every single person we've gone through that process with has really gotten a ton of value out of it. So if you wondering what your next steps are and how to boil that down into actionables, identifying what your next opportunities are and making a move on them, shoot us an email, thedudes@hackyourgym.com. Follow me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFFI and Stone. John?
You can follow me at JBanksFL.
Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.